Alright, I think we're going. Are we going? Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. It's a nice start. What remains of Edith Finch? Curse? What curse? Densa. Too bad I won't be able to see much of today's strum. Do I have double sound? No. It's just very expansive. I'm sorry you're gonna miss it, man, or miss much of it. You're interested to see my reaction. So am I. Funny, we're on this same page. Good morning, Densa, Rango, Kimberly, and anyone else getting in here, maybe lurking out there. Welcome. We had a good time with Geralt on Saturday. It was Saturday, right? Yeah, Saturday. We finished Horizon on Friday, right? Friday. That was a good weekend. It was a good weekend. I hope everyone had a good weekend. And another week begins. I don't know, I hope we'll see DBA Bob rolling in here. This was his game choice. Most recent. Oh, that's a nice touch. There is a menu. I loaded this up to make sure that settings were in place. I found no subtitles setting. I hope maybe there's no voice work. I don't know. Maybe that's why there's no subtitle setting. But you get to look around even before the menu. So yeah, Rango, I just got out of the shower. I'm still steaming, but I got my coffee. We're all here. Some of us. Ujit sound. Fairy lights. This game is all about how the story is presented to you rather than the story itself. So stay tuned, people, and keep that in mind. So Edith Finch is a boat. Yes, I'm quite sure you're correct. There's no possibility she's actually a person. What's up, Woo? This is a narrative adventure. Not an action game. Well, let's see what we shall see. Or maybe it's already begun. Maybe this is not a starting menu, the pause menu. Game begins when the game begins and the game has already began. Well, let's take a look. The Finches. Going back to the late 1800s. Odin, 1880 to 1937. Eddie, born 20 years before Odin died. Eddie lived a nice ripe age. Wow. Wow, wow. Not bad. Walter, born 1952. 2005. Sam, born 2 years before Walter. Calvin, born the same year as Sam. Didn't live very long. Calvin lived 11 years. Sam lived 33 years. Barbara, born 1944, only lived 16 years of age. This is not a strong tree already. Molly, born 1937, only lived to the age of 10. I wonder what Ingeborg and Kay and Sanjay, leaves off a tree. Sven, leaves fallen from the tree. Hey there, Goodwin. Lay over. Does anybody do genealogy work? Is there significance to leaves drawn disconnected from a family tree? Or what is the significance? Mysteriously quiet in chat? Well, we began 5 minutes ago, and we're just settling in. There's probably not too many people here yet, Goodwin. If there will be. Who knows who will come to see what remains of Edith Finch. It's also a Monday. People are getting back to work. But welcome to you. Gregory lived 1 year, 76 to 77. Gus, born 1969, only lived to 13. Dawn lived a little bit longer. People don't live very long in this family, do they? Except for Eddie. The Odin. Seems the longer this family went on, the shorter the lives of its members were. Lewis, born 1988, lived to 22. Milton, born 1992. And Edith, born just before the turn of the century.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Stormtroopers have longer lifespans than these people. Yeah. Can zoom in on things.
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it. My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
Milton, born 1992. Says to 2003, which is when Edith was 4, she says he disappeared. Yeah, Manny, playing on PC. Yes. Does that make any difference for this game, would you think? Age of Disappearance 11. Milton Finch. I should actually just look at the controls instead of experimenting until it makes sense. Camera control, reticle, mouse. Oh, a lot of stuff there. It does. The PS4 version had a hard time maintaining 30 frames, really. They overdo their environments? How did that happen, I wonder?
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Even from a distance, that house doesn't look very sturdy. I do hope DBA Bob makes it. I hear you, Dinsa. Well, I just want to know what the basics are, like knowing to zoom in or what's a basic interaction. I expect that was... the mailbox was made to resemble their actual house. What is she wearing? Look at those... look at her knitted sleeve. With fingerless gloves built in.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
That's funny. When my mailbox fills with stuff like that, it really fills up. God, they'd stop delivering my mail and take it back after just a couple months. How'd that happen? Stopped delivering mail 7 years ago, and it's still just sitting there. It hasn't rotted.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Hey there, Steven. Welcome, man. Wait, if you don't open your bills, they'll take them back. Well, somebody takes them back. Fortunately, they don't pay them for you. It's Lewis's funeral. Lewis was born 1988. Died 2010. So while Edith... You know what year it is? Is it contemporary? Game's about a year old, 2 years old? Huh. The letters fell to the ground. That's a neat effect. Atom Bomb, welcome. It's an amazing game. That's what I keep hearing. It's property protected by video surveillance. Trespassers will be prosecuted. I have a similar sign on my door. It's an out there walking simulator.
Inner Will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
I will. Edith said that she was not allowed into many rooms of the house. She lived there until she was...
Maybe she thought I'd know.
How old did she say?
Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
So the path forks. The house itself. Still see it in the distance. I want to go down this little path here. Did you go walking in the woods? Anyone go walking in the woods? Any point in their life? Maybe as a kid, or even now, you are no longer. Used to walk in the woods in New York, and we called it upstate New York. At a country house there. It was really only 100 miles north of the city. But we have some land with some woods and a stream. I liked walking up the stream bed and off into the woods. Used to pick mushrooms with family as a kid.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Well, Manny, you said it doesn't maintain a solid frame rate on PlayStation. That's too bad because it is butter smooth. And I think it needs to be. If you're going to make a walking simulator and you want someone to enjoy walking through the woods, looking at the scenery, you gotta feel like you're there. No, a slideshow wouldn't do this justice at all.
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
Hey, Rain. Kimberly, redwoods in Northern California. Not so much where you are now. Denza, you like the mushroom picking, huh? Not the bugs? I don't remember. Sure, there were lots of bugs. I don't remember the bugs. I remember the woods and the stream and the mushrooms. I'm sure there were lots of critters in the forest too, and I don't remember them. Rain, you're going crazy with finals. And can you cut loose for a few hours? This is not supposed to be a long game. 2 to 3 hours, although at stream pace, and if I walk extra slow and we stop to consider things, maybe it'll be a whole stream. Assuming we finish this in the middle of the the scheduled stream today. We'll start Little Nightmares, which we're going to play tomorrow. This is Edith's fastest walking pace. And I may go slower than that. Denza, you still have a lot of woods in Estonia. Sometimes you still pick mushrooms when it's the season. That mean you were able to identify some of them? I never did learn one mushroom from another as a kid. Guess I relied on my parents to make sure we weren't picking dangerous ones. I don't think we...
exactly like I remembered it. The way I'd been dreaming about it.
Yeah, the mailbox did not do it justice. 1, 2, 3. 3 main stories. Maybe it has basement as well. And then... on top, is that an observatory? A makeshift greenhouse, or maybe they kept pigeons. And then they built up. Why would you build up like that? Wow, Rango, I wish I had a good suggestion for you. A lot to remember. So the game takes place in Washington State. Whoa. What do they have over there? Seems to be some invisible walls. It may not look obvious, but there are paths that you can take and places you can't go, it would seem. What was
I
this?
asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond. Yeah. She said it had killed her husband. I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then.
Edie said the dragon in the pond killed her husband. Edie, that's the most long-lived member of the whole family. I'll ask again in case anyone who's here now knows. The leaves that are detached from the tree, Sanjay, Sven, Ingeborg, and Kay, the leaf that's still attached to the tree, is there any universal significance in genealogy in a family tree that's portrayed to having leaves that are not on the tree? There's no dates, no years for those names. What's the significance of that? Lots of missing flyers around. The dragon in the pond looks like it might have had more shape. Maybe it rose out of the pond before. Looks like it might have had a body that we can't see much of now. Considering it's been...
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Well, it's a pretty weird looking house. There's Bob. I was really hoping we wouldn't get far into this before you made it back, Bob. Yeah. Welcome, Bob. They married into the family. Oh, is that what it means? They married into the family. This game is for you, Bob, and for all of us. I think I'm going to enjoy it quite a bit. So Sanjay, Kay, Sven, Ingeborg, married into the family, huh? Just quickly, what's happened so far? Very, very little. Presumably we are Edith. I can't reach my arms out. I can't show you Edith. But Edith is at the top of the tree here, born 1999. And she's inherited the family house, which she said used to creep her out as a kid. We don't know much. She lived in this house for some years as a child, was not allowed into most of the rooms of the house. Her brother Milton disappeared when she was 4. Milton was born 7 years before her, but disappeared when she was 4. Lewis died in 2010. I don't think we know how. What I was going to say before she spoke, and I'll try to shut up at any point Edith or any voice work kicks in, I'll just zip it. But since I don't know when it's coming, I may be rambling on right when something starts, and then I just go quiet. But I was looking at the flower beds here. And it sounds like 7 years since anyone's been here. The mail in the mailbox was from 7 years ago. But these flower beds are not really that overgrown for 7 years.
As a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
So it's 2016. She was born 1999, 17 years old. She returns to the house that she has inherited from her family. A house that scares her, that scared her as a kid. She has a key to rooms that she doesn't know what the key is for. It was in her mother's will that the key be left to her. Hey there, Dregs. Sends an email to the art director. Yeah, I think that's one of the, that's going to be one of the rock stars of this game is the art direction. Oh, that's a cool looking tree. Is there part of a tree house left in there? Wind chimes. You have wind chimes at your house? It's almost exactly like the wind chime I have outside my house. It's a really simple wind chime like that with one little ring in the middle. That's almost exactly like the one I have. Of course, simple wind chimes are bound to be simple. What, 7 years? Waste Management never took back their bins? How about a tree house? Or a tree swing? You ever have one of those? I helped as a 3-year-old, I helped my father build a tree house around an actual tree up near that same country house where I would walk in the woods. Kimberly, you've got a wind chime like that too with a wooden disc in the middle? I don't remember having a swing, but I had that tree house. I like to think Jay at 3 had just as much hair. It was really blonde and really curly. They had a dog door. Pet door. Yeah. Light blonde. Yeah, like golden blonde.
I heard something moving around in the garage.
Well, there's no handle on the garage, so you couldn't even lift it by hand. There's definitely a basement. When we took the lower fork in the path to come here, I wonder where the other one went. Why are there so many missing flyers scattered about? That her brother went missing. Why are they still here after 7 years? Danglebot. Anyone here able to paraphrase the game up till now in a sentence or two? Edith Finch returns to her childhood home after inheriting it. Years after inheriting the home, she returns with a key. She doesn't know what it's for. All we know is that she has a very sad family tree of very short lives. Her brother Milton disappeared, her brother Lewis died, and she's inherited the family home.
I hope the key might unlock the front door. it didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
So the key does not open the door. Her hand might be small enough to fit through, but she doesn't seem to want to try that. Rain, it's okay, it's okay. Maybe we could go back and check the dog door again. I bet she could crawl through. She doesn't seem to be a climber, this Edith. Not a climber, not a runner, not a jumper. Hey, Hazcat, almost missed you there. You were a quiet one. Hazcat, have you seen this before? She doesn't seem to want to try the... Oh, there we go.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Okay, so she's 17 now. She's been away from the home for at least 5 or 6 years. Man, my bike's been hung up for years. I should get that thing down and...
The power had been turned off the night we left.
The night we left. Okay. So maybe they all left the house some years ago. That her brother Lewis died in 2010, and that the game seems to be set in about 2016. Maybe that's when they left the house. Maybe when Lewis died. Milton had disappeared 7 years before that. Maybe it was when Lewis died that they left the house. Family truckster, covered in a tarp. I was watching National Lampoon the other day. Cosmic Cuisine, Pleasures of Japanese Cooking. Book of Mushrooms. Good for a house in the woods. Northwest Chef, Raw Fowl. Of cooking books. Pacific Pantry. Flour, salt, water, yeast. There's a book of cakes and breads. We never did have a meat cooler. You know, we never had a big ice box in the garage. That's excellent. Hazcat, it's new to you too. How many people here have seen this before or played it before? Entirely new to me. I've seen none of it. Wood Shiner? Grain Glow. Wood Shiner. What was that? Dregs, did I miss something? Stir-fried cat. Please, no. There's no stir-fried cat, right? Kitchen. Ah, the tennis ball on the string. You ever done that or seen that? There is a tennis ball on a string in the garage in my house, but I did not hang it. The previous owner did. I've never parked my car in the garage. People would hang tennis balls from strings in their garage so that when you pull into the garage, you mark the point where you want to park with the tennis ball, so when it touches your windshield, you know to stop. That you're all the way in, that you'll fit, that the garage door won't close on your car. Hey, Miss Misery. Hey, y'all. Have you recovered from your social hangover? Miss Misery.
For
open
the
reels.
first time in years,
Edith, Milton, Lewis, Dawn, and Edie. Edie was the most long-lived. She lived to 2010, the same year Lewis died. But Edie was born in 1917. She lived into her 90s. Most long-lived member of the family. Adam Baum, you're calling it the best indie game you've ever played. Strong words. Misery, you're all right now, you suppose? Little recovery has taken place. Still cooling from the shower I took right before the stream.
I felt like I was home.
You are home. Edith, you are home. They must have just left everything. They might have moved from the house, but they didn't move out of the house. Everything's here. Lots of cookbooks. Hunter's Roast. Some of the same books that were in the garage. The Nordic cookbook. More than one. A Viking's Belly. From Cove to Stove. Lots of books. And lots of copies of the same books. Canned tuna.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Dawn. I want to look at the family tree again. We'll look at it many times, I'm sure. Dawn lived to 2016. Dawn must have just died. Well, that would be Dawn, her mother, from whom she inherited the key. Must have just died. Edith likely inherited the place recently. In loving memory of Lewis Finch. December 27th, 1988 to November 21st, 2010. Beloved brother to Edith, son of Dawn, great-grandson to Edie. Memorial service at the Finch Family Cemetery on Fireweed Road. Family cemeteries. Huh. Imagine not too many families have their own cemeteries anymore. Soy sauce.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Used to be like that here. Had pizza and one Chinese place is all that would ever come here. I live outside city limits.
Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Not tuna. A lot of canned salmon. Will you be able to watch this masterpiece of digital entertainment later? Manny, if you're asking, will it get posted? I mean, it'll be archived on YouTube probably tomorrow or Wednesday. It'll be on Twitch right after the stream. It'll stay there for 60 days. Yep, it pretty much is just talking as I look at stuff. Some of that on its own, sometimes with a prompt. If you've noticed the little white dots, sometimes I have to... You can zoom in with one of the triggers. There's not a lot of interaction. And the other trigger does set off some of the dialogue. Some of it's happening on its own, though. Whoa. That's a lot. That's a lot of salmon. If it's still good after these years. Did you shave your head? No, I just got out of the shower right before the stream. It's all still there. Just wet. It was slow moving this morning. Right on, Manny. Well, it sounds like you won't be able to see it all live, but you'll definitely be able to catch up on it if you'd like. Barbara Finch. Looks like a director's chair. What does it say? My friend Bigfoot? Somebody made films.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
A wreck from the night we left.
It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Wonder why they left so suddenly. I expect it has something to do with Lewis's death. But so if Milton disappeared in '03, Lewis died in 2010, all those missing posters that are scattered about, it seemed they might have been there for years before they even left the house. Seems strange. Okie dokie, Manny. There go my creative non-spoilers. We'll see ya. We'll see ya next time, man. House seems to be used as a warehouse for sardines. Something like that. Salmon, as it turns out. Someone in the family worked for a local cannery, and so they ate a lot of canned salmon. Don't work too hard today, Manny. We'll catch you tomorrow. Boating, camping, and maybe the ferry that brings people from the mainland. Hey there, Jake. Yeah, Hazcat, the game is, it is a one-stream game. It's 2 to 3 hours. Somehow I think I'll stretch it into 5. Not because I'm trying to stretch it, but because I don't want to, I don't want to miss anything if I can help it, and I'd like us to be able to ponder it as we go. You know me, I go in slow-mo often enough. And since this is all about walking around and looking at things, it's gonna feed my tendency to crawl through games. They left, they didn't even take their iPod. So there's one of those white dots you asked about. Is the dialogue happening on its own? When we walked in, the dialogue about the room, the table was on its own. But this is something I would need to interact with. Just a little bit.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Assisted living. Enjoy life. Well, if it makes up for any of that, Hazcat, I was fairly productive yesterday on a Sunday. Got a lot of little things done I needed to. Domain renewals, business trade name renewals, client contacts, and some planning for this week. And so the power's out in the house. If light gets in here. That's a nice fireplace and a nice chimney. That same country house I've mentioned is a converted barn.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Yeah, too many books. Didn't think I'd ever say that, but if there's ever a house that has too many books, it might be this one. The country house that I got to visit mostly as a child, was once a functional
Even the
barn.
fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house after it sank.
The original house sank. Oh, do you see the words go flying up the chimney? My father spent decades turning this functional barn. He had not worked the barn. You know, the dust flying in front of the camera looked like one of those ghostly orbs you might see discussed in a ghost hunting video. Particles of dust flying around. So over decades, he took this barn and turned it into a home. Had to add floors where there was open space for hay bales, and we had an incredible fireplace that looked a lot like this, a big brick fireplace. I love a good fireplace. Very cool table too. Wow, 7 years, no one's broken in and robbed the house of valuables. Is that the original house, maybe? The bricks were from the original house before it sank. Stephen, I don't think it's that kind of horror. I doubt we're gonna get jump scares. I don't really know. But it's more about the family believing it's cursed. Which, in trying to find out a little about the game without finding out too much, that's about all I've got. It's a family that may be cursed or may think it's cursed. If you look at their family tree and what short lives they all led, except for Edie, maybe Odin, maybe there's something to that. Is that a young Edith? I wonder. Chopping down a Christmas tree. We used to cut down our own Christmas trees up in the woods around our country house. Someone on a plane visiting Paris? Is that the Eiffel Tower out the window? Dawn Finch, living room. So there are boxes. They were packing things up. At least some things. If they were going to move. But then they just left. Everything was left here. Densa, all right, need to go to bed now. Have a good one, everyone. Good night, Densa. Sleep well. Rango, 2 to 3 hours is what it's supposed to be. I think we might spend a little more than that. And my coffee's going cold. Butterflies, centipedes, scorpions, other bugs. Crabs. Musical instruments. There's that picture again. Barbara Finch, director's chair, my friend Bigfoot. Some old-time movie set.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Sven was crafty. Bigfoot on the carved into the lid of the music box. Huh. And the little girl in the music box had a basket you might take out for picking mushrooms in the woods. Oh, yeah, thank you, Kimberly. Maybe that's what you meant, Rango. For a short game like that, how much does it cost? It sells for $20. In fact, it would go on sale from time to time. Don't know if it has. So Sven built this for Barbara. Where's Sven on the tree? Sven married in. That's the leaf, the detached leaf from the tree. Sven built for Barbara. Barbara, who did not live long. 16 years. Born 1944, died 1960. Who would Sven have been married to then? Not Barbara. Barbara, a child. Sven's child, maybe with Edie? I'll be thinking out loud throughout this, so if I accidentally ask a question, if you've played the game, if you know the answer to, please don't say the answer. I'm just thinking out loud. Of course, we wouldn't want things
Mom always
spoiled
told me to
before
stay
we
out of the basement,
discover them.
so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Well, the key's got to fit something, and Edith said she was not allowed into many rooms in the house as a child. Bet we find another way into the basement. Clock is no longer ticking. Edie, Dawn, Milton, Lewis, Edith. Is it an inbox or an outbox? November 2010, when they walked away from the house. Or ran screaming, we don't know. But they were packing things up.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Well, if they left the house in 2010, remember that Milton went missing in 2003. All these missing posters around are for a child that's been missing for 7 years. Still putting up missing posters?
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Whirlwind of that last night. Things got left behind. Seems nearly everything got left behind. Hey, so that's what was in the garage. Someone was sealing doorways. The special lock and bar. One of these was on the workbench in the garage. I sort of wondered if it might be something like this, but to see one installed makes a lot more sense.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
What? Figuratively, I hope. She mentioned the Finch family cemetery, so how could they all be buried in the library? Unless the library is the cemetery. And man, they sealed it up good. Look, they even foamed the cracks of the door. No air getting through that door. I thought the calendar in the garage, though, said a different month. Not sure. Maybe we'll be back in the garage, or we could go back and take a look. Most of the books I've noticed so far, and many of them repeat copies like A Viking's Belly or the Nordic Cookbook, but they're not all. Here we have Seeing Critically, Homeschooling Essentials, East of the Sun and West of the Moon, Labyrinths, The 100 Years of Solitude, Jabberwocky, Infinite Jest. To the closet. Have you ever seen one of those up close? Chair. What do you call those? The chairs that you know, you can't climb stairs. You get a mechanized chair, a lift. It's not an elevator. What do you call a chair like that? Have you ever seen one up close? I've only seen one or two in my life. Before we go up there, I want to make a bit of a pass through the hall. Stenna chairlift. Stenna, a chairlift. A chairlift. Is that it? A chair? Like, yeah, like a, okay. Chairlift, of course. If you've ever been skiing, snowboarding, a stair lift. Well, I thought a chairlift made perfect sense. Many of you know I fix computers and I go on site to homes and businesses. Seems almost everybody has pictures in their stairwell.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms.
Oh, look at that saw. That one decorative, but looks like
Then
the...
Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
What? Those large two-person saws. That one's been painted. Becomes something decorative. The chimney. Using bricks from the old house before it sank. Interesting slope to the chimney. Peepholes. Pervy Edie. Well, she lived to a ripe old age. She had a lot of time to practice. Little rubber animal masks with a string on them. Had some of those around. Underwater pictures. Who is that? Might that be Sven? Crafty one? More locks. They sealed up Molly's room. Molly, who lived only to 10 years of age. Mice decked out in royal gear. Party hats, trumpeting. What do you call those? What do you call those neck pieces? The big white frilly neck pieces. Molly was the cat, right? Possibly. Do you see any foreshadowing in the set design so far? As a disclaimer, you haven't seen this played, but seems like it could be on its way to a scary game. I think it's meant to be disturbing, maybe a little scary. I'd say if there's anything in the set design that's foreshadowing, it has to do with things being walled off. Not just a house locked up, rooms that as a child Edith wasn't allowed into, but the short lives of the members of the family and the fact that they've sealed off the rooms that, well, in this case, Molly's room, sealed.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Seem to be tree branches, maybe jutting through the bricks. Stuff has grown through the walls into the room. There's an animal cage. Maybe a hamster cage, hamster wheel. Like a nice big room. Yeah, that's a big room for a young child. Jabot, king-like thing, that ruffled neck piece. Rough might be closer to the term. There's an eye hole going into the room. Yeah, it seems to be the keyhole for the wooden bar. We saw one of these wooden bars with the metal, not hinges, the metal fastenings. We saw one on the workbench in the garage, but now there's a few. Starting to see them in the house. before I go down there, just from afar. Saw another one down that way. Two. There's two more. Any rooms seem to be sealed off in this house. There's another one.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
Great Uncle Walter. 1952 to 2005. Well, he lived longer than many people in the family. Great Uncle Walter. So would Walter then have been Edie's brother? Great Grandma Edie? Great Uncle Walter?
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Why wouldn't they? They sealed everything else up. At the bottom of the ocean shown here, little wooden sign, the Finches. Sunk into the sand at the bottom. They said the old house sank. Wait, they said the old house sank. How literally? Figured they meant something like the ground was weak and the house collapsed. But this shows the old house, which was shown over the fireplace in a painting or a photograph. Underwater. Train car, number 249.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
She's carrying this key that she inherited. Her mother died. And this copy of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is sealed with a metal hinge and lock. Strange. And the key finally fits something.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Huh. Oh, that's neat.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Hey. Guess we're going in.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Milton is the one who disappeared when Edith was 4.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
Reading what? He seems to be crouched, crawling around in here. Very cramped. Oh, she's on her hands and knees. If this was Milton's tea set, a picture of a girl in front of a house, maybe some water. Nice piece of stained glass for a little crawl space like this. Jump rope. I got a jump rope a few years back thinking I would use it for exercise. I got one that is too long. Probably adjust it.
But I had no idea what was behind that door.
It's one of the sealed rooms.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Molly. Does not look like Molly was the cat. Let's go to the tree again. Was Molly on the tree? Yes. Yes, Molly was not the cat. Molly 1937 to 1947. Molly lived to the age of 10. And we saw one of those...
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
Peephole in the wooden bar. Beer Factor. Hello, hello. How you doing? This room hasn't been messed with since the 40s. It seems like it. Not a lot of dust in this house. And there's another animal cage. Things seem frozen in time. They don't seem like they've accumulated years of dust and deterioration.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Hi, Rex. Molly liked creatures of the sea. Oh, same cage. This is the room you looked in and said it was a nice big room? Oh God, are you right? You're right. Oh my, you're right. We looked through there and I saw from about this angle. You're absolutely right. It was so fish-eyed from the keyhole that it looked like a huge room. Oh, you're absolutely right. It's that room. It's not that big. Thank you. I wasn't putting those together. Hey, look. There's some piping going from the hamster cage down into the drawers beneath it. So, Jake, you're asking, what is the story behind this game again? Not much. Edith Finch inherited her family home after her mother Dawn died, 2016. Her brother Milton had disappeared some years before. Lewis had died 6 years ago, and it seems the family abruptly left the house around the time Lewis died. We don't know much else. She wasn't allowed into many rooms of the house as a kid, and now she's inherited a key from her mother and come back to the family home.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Steven, that is... hesitate to contemplate beyond what you point out, that the uncle had a hatch that went into the crawl space and into a 10-year-old girl's room. Let's not take that any further on our own. Let's see. But, there are those little rubber animal masks. Orca's Island Calves.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
So, remember, Edie was the most long-lived of the family, born in 1917. And Lewis and Edie both lived to 2010, and that's when they left the house. We don't know if it was when Lewis died, or Edie died, or what happened, but it seems Lewis and Edie both lived 2010. Dawn was the mother who sealed this room. If Molly died in 1947, the room has not been sealed since 1947. Dawn, mother, wasn't even born until 1968. So something led Dawn in her lifetime to seal Molly's room. This room was not sealed since 1947. Daddy fishing on the chalkboard in the back. Molly shown underwater in a castle. There's a dragon. Maybe like the metal dragon out in the pond outside the house. Molly's diary.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man!
Death be not proud. 7, welcome, man. I think we've just been transported back in time. We are, for the moment, Molly, 1947.
My Halloween candy was all gone.
Oh, your timing's not so bad, man. The gerbil food.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Oh! Okay. Those droppings in the food bowl are still there. 50, 60 years later. Not going to try to leave the room quite yet. Oh, there's a door that looks ajar. This is the door that's been sealed up. It looks like there's someone in the bed. Or something. Looks like rat turds. Don't hamster and gerbil turds look a bit like rat turds? Look about the same. Molly liked the ocean. Edie and Sven, Molly, and a knife having cut a starfish. It's not. She was 10, Jake. She was 10. She was sent to bed without any supper. Pacific Ocean depth chart. Thought about what? I thought about... Oh, there's a... There we go.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
She was that hungry? They starving this poor girl? They didn't just send her to bed without any dinner. She must have been starving. She was thinking about eating her pet goldfish. Try this door first. One which was sealed by Dawn.
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Oh. Oh, that's why that door is ajar. It only goes to the bathroom. Seagulls. Goldmobile. Old school toilet tank. A pie.
I kept eating and eating.
Oh. Who was her mother again? Just ate the toothpaste. She's so hungry. She ate her hamster's food and nearly ate her own goldfish, and she just ate her toothpaste. Well, Molly was born in 1937. So perhaps she's another child of Edie? He would have been 20 at the time. Nobody else in the family looks on this tree. Nobody else would be old enough. Yeah, it must have been Edie. My guess is Edie. Oh, not supposed to eat those, are you?
I ate a lot of things that night.
What or who is Ingeborg? So I asked what the leaves were that were not dated on the tree, and if those are people who married into the family, it would seem. So Sven, maybe Sven married Edie. Maybe Molly's parents were Sven and Edie. Ingeborg, I can only guess, married Odin. I don't have a lot of experience with drawn family trees to know the common conventions in genealogy. I'm playing a bit of a guessing game. Well, doesn't seem to be a standard genealogy tree format. That's also possible, and I wouldn't know. Please don't drink the toilet water.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her.
Windows are chained.
And suddenly,
What?
I was a cat.
Maybe Molly was the cat after all. Wow. Who asked if Molly was the cat? Was that you, Stephen? This looks like the old house. Maybe the one that sunk. Ding, ding, ding. Little bell on her collar.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Meow. Hey there, Likes. You assumed she was a cat too? Because she was only 10. There were rat picks all over the door. Except their cat Molly. Was that it? When she was talking about the canned salmon, she said her family didn't like it except their cat Molly. You can see inside. There's a Christmas tree and presents inside. Fireplace. Do you hear the snoring too, or is that meant to be the cat breathing? But it sounds sort of like a person snoring.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Sven and Edie, I assume. This neat little crouch and jump mechanic they've got here. Hey, Simpika, how you doing?
The babies were all gone.
Pika, hope your Monday's wheels so far. How are you doing? Quite sure what to make of all this yet. I'm good. Pika, I'm good. This is such a curious game already. Oh, the tree outside and the tree house that we saw a little bit of.
I jumped and I almost got her.
Just walked over where the swing was anchored. Oh, that's sweet. So the cat pounces, jumps and pounces.
I could tell she was getting really tired.
The bird? The bird fly away with it. Of its nest because of the babies.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
It's not very nice, Molly. You're very hungry.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind.
Okay.
Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
The owls are not what they seem. Ugh,
Rabbits.
I can steer. Oh, why?
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
What? What in the world?
A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to
Okay.
kill. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Ah! What? What? A shark out of water. Oh, what? Oh my god. I am a shark out of water. That's all me. What is going on?
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Land shark. Okay.
juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Oh my god.
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Must be on a ferry. There's a car here, but we're on a boat. Sure looks like we're on a boat. Oh my god, do you see that? Oh god, look at that. Talk about 20,000 leagues under the sea.
School, everybody! I'm here.
Young Shark says, "What the hell? Hey, you're the shark. You should get some of that." Sea Star, you've been lurking a few minutes, and this game looks interesting. Happy Monday to you too, Sea Star. I've got tentacles. Never had tentacles before. Okay, but I can't seem to... Oh! Oh, I can move. I have to extend my tentacles and then pull myself forward. Yeah, Jake, I don't... Words to describe this game. Well... Captain Finch. Fishing Co. This is so weird. Curl my tentacle around that bucket. Oh my god. Young Shark, that was your neighbor. Oh! Oh, oh, okay.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Yes, this is after Twin Peaks. It does fit well. Crew only. Car with a Christmas tree on top. The camera combined with the movement is very strange here. Wonder, can we get into the crew only area? It's very slow. You got to put your tentacle out somewhere before you let it pull you, before you pull yourself towards it. Can I go under?
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Oh my god. Wait, where'd the person go? Wonder if this goes down into the crew area that was locked off. Yellow fisherman's boots. Yes, this is why you feed your kids. Do not starve your children, folks. They will turn into cats, owls, and octopi. I'm getting used to this octopus movement. It's really cool. Very strange. Excuse me. What do you do with a drunken sailor? Rusty razor early in the morning. Yeah! Oh, we must have swallowed the last guy. Now we've swallowed two. Bird was out here. Yes, now we know what we shall do with the drunken sailor.
After the last passenger, I was still waiting.
Thank you for the host.
Across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
RCD, I don't even know anymore. How is everybody today? Sup, everybody? I don't know what's up anymore. I don't know. About you? Have you come to wreck your mind with this game? Are we back into Molly's room? Is this her bathroom? I think we're
I
back.
got closer and closer.
Maybe. Yep. I think I'm an octopus right now, Rex. But I was a shark and an owl and a cat. And before that, I was but a little 10-year-old girl. Well, RCD, if you've come to get away from reality, success.
All my stomach started growling.
All my stomachs.
And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Whoa.
Bring out Edith!
Oh, man. Hey, Mirabla, welcome. So that's what Edith found in Molly's diary.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Did she just draw that picture in there of Molly? Mirabla, have you seen this before? Okay. All that from her diary.
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
I'm not sure I have the words for it, RZD. It's a walking simulator. It's a narrative adventure, but what does that mean when we're seeing what we're seeing? It does look like some trees have breached the room, though. So some of that appears hung. I guess we leave Molly's room at some point. Edith doesn't seem to be able to go into the bathroom. You're a wizard, Molly. Whistle hung inside. All right, let's head back if we even can. No, she doesn't want to grab it. We're not done here yet. See? Can we open the window? Yeah. Okay, Molly had opened the window because of a bird, and that's when she turned into a cat, and we went out on the trees as a cat. And as we got near the bird, we turned into an owl. As we flew around, yeah, one thing led to another.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
There you go. There's the connection. The more earthbound connection. They had a cat. They named it Molly. Who was it? Does anyone remember who was working at the cannery? Was that Lewis, who lived to 22 years of age? Someone was working at the cannery and brought home a lot of canned salmon, and everybody got sick of it except for their cat Molly. They did have a cat named after the girl who died in 1947. Looking down into the living room. Picture above the fireplace of the old house before it sank, is how they put it. The old house sank. See what's left of the tree house. Is that her biological tree? This is the family tree. We're just piecing it together. But Edie, the most long-lived in the family, seems to have lived to the same year, 2010, that Lewis lived to. And that's when they left the house. Suddenly, but we don't know why or under what conditions. Milton had disappeared 7 years before they left the house, when Edith was 4. Should be taking a break here shortly, too.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
When we were outside the window as a cat, as Molly the cat, we looked in and saw her parents. I can only assume were Edie and Sven in this room. Whoa. It's a lot of cages. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a lot of cages. That one has books, a candle, and a picture of a bird in it. That one, books, a candle, and a picture of a snake. named Bob, 1980 to 1984. And the bird was Burpee, 1940 to 1948. Is that a parakeet? What type of bird is that? No name on that one. What type of bird is that? Derpy. Really? Derpy? Derpy the bird, 68 to 81. Oh, yeah, Sea Star. So was Edith's grandmother. Yes, it seems so. Yeah, you got your answer from the tree. Wait, Rob. Okay, that looks like a maybe an iguana. It's hard. I can't crouch. Right? There's no button to crouch. But it looks like Bob might have been an iguana. Rob, sorry. Bob was a snake. 1980 to 84. Rob, I can't quite see the dates. Zooming in. Do any of the dates line up with the tree? Like span of years, is it an exact match? Well, 1980 to 84 does not line up. 40 to 48. During Molly's lifetime. Lived longer than Molly. So the bird named Burpee. From the death dates. 1 year after Molly died. And 81. 1 year before Gus. I don't think we know much about Gus. 1 year before Gus died. Lurpy. Not Derpy. Lurpy. Boy, someone was creative. 52 to 63. Purply. Derpy. Lurpy. Purply. 73 to 79. Thank you, man. Rich, thank you for your support, man. Thank you for supporting the stream as you do. Does it say Erpy or Flurpy? You had a parrot just like Purply, Rain? You had a parrot just like that? And Zerpy, 92 to 95. Oh, I had an owl. Really? They keep an owl in a cage? Damn. Well, different is it from keeping a bird in a small cage?
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
So Edith likes her gloves. Next time she reaches her hand out to something, look at how she's wearing. Whatever she's wearing is knit and wrapped. There's a glove built into what she's wearing that goes up her arms. Fingerless glove. I missed one. I missed one. Oh, I did miss one. Good catch, Jake. Derpy Jr., 94 to 2006. That was a long-lived bird. Well, maybe not so long-lived. Derpy Jr. Derpy Jr., Lurpy, Purply, Zerpy, Furpy. I don't know what to make of the names. But if you see Edith reach out, take a look at what she's wearing. S7, you got you're watching this through lo-fi Wi-Fi.
Lewis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Oh, okay. So even though the family tree says Lewis and Edie both died in 2010, Lewis had died before they left. Did she say 10 days before they left? And Edie was already working to memorialize him. as others in the family seem to have been memorialized. Molly, 1943. Barbara, Calvin and Sam, Walter, Don, Gus, Gregory, Lewis, Milton, Edith, Pierce. What's up, Pierce? Oh my god, Pierce. What up, homeboys and homegirls? What we're trying to figure out, Pierce. How are you doing? You seen this before? This is my first time in Edith Finch. What remains of Edith Finch? Lewis. Boy, Edie just was all about memorializing everyone. A model of part of the old house, or what?
Her room was like a museum.
Yeah, a room like a museum. Mysteries of Death and Thereafter by Odin Finch. The writer, huh? Joining the great majority. That nest with those eggs looks like the nest that Molly as a cat saw. Curved swords. Look at her hand. Did you see the...
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune.
Thank you,
and
Rego.
misfortune.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. This takes place in Washington State. But for 500 years, the Finches were famous in Norway. Rango says, I think there are bits, but after this game so far, I really don't know what anything is anymore. No kidding. No kidding. Thank you for the bits. I like your bits. Cheers. Can we play this? Yeah.
Odin
slide.
Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johann.
His mustache is here somewhere. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse. This is the first mention in game of the family curse, I think. His wife Ingeborg and their newborn son Johann. We'll go back to the tree afterwards, but Odin's on the tree. Ingeborg is a leaf detached from the tree. Johann on the tree.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
They transported the house by boat? I know houses are moved. But did that happen a lot? How many homes got moved by boat?
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
That's how the house sunk. So they meant it literally. They were transporting the house by boat. And Odin and the house sunk to the bottom of the sea. Oh, wow. Hey, DJ. How are you doing? Yeah, it's very sad what's going on in London.
Odin's daughter Edith, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island.
Oh. Edie was daughter of Odin. Okay, Edie and Odin were not siblings. Was Odin's daughter. Husband Sven and baby Molly step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. I don't think, can we look at the tree even while in the middle of this? Oh, we can. Okay. Good. I didn't want to have to start flipping through the slides again. There's Odin at the bottom of the tree, 1880 to 1937. He was born 20 years before Odin died. Edie and Sven and their daughter Molly. Were you that close to it? Wow, DJ, were you that close to what was going on? It's been scary, man. Johan. We don't see Johan on the tree, but Odin and Ingeborg. Daughter, Edie. But they had buried their son, Johan, and I don't see Johan here. Orcas Island.
Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery.
Look at what they built for him. Odin, who died as the house sunk. They have him standing on the sinking house, on the roof of the sinking house, with Edie in a boat, and Molly maybe reaching out for him.
His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Okay, that was it. So they took bricks from the old house that sunk to make the fireplace in the new one.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Org. Okay. Don't suppose there's any particular reason to find a, where's a break spot? Any spot's a break spot. Let me take a break here. I don't feel right putting on any of this beat-laden music to go along with this. Do I have anything appropriate? Should we just leave the game sound on? Yeah, anything can you leave the tree up? You'll take a pic. Yeah, grab the pic now. I mean, I can put it up again later. Didn't realize I was blocking a little bit of the tree. Barbara. Let me take a break. Assuming the in-game music just plays, it's gonna let it play. I'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. Let me go stretch, go feed the dogs. I'll meet you back here.